Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Andiswa Dumakazi Mdleleni. I've got two names. I've got a pleasure of having two Xhosa names. So basically, the Andiswa I was named by my mom, and Dumakazi I was named by my dad, and that is our clan name. So when I say is Takazelo or this tuta, in other words, I will say ndungumasongo mamsimanga mathabezwa nombutho noDumakazi into ezinyele enkcinkcini umuntu wasemzini athathamba yolahla ononqasikhathali. Yeah, so let me end there so I can tutor myself. Yeah, so this is just an intro to you guys on my channel. It's the first time that I will be doing YouTube. Yeah, so it has been such an overwhelming experience for me altogether. Firstly, I needed to familiarize myself with YouTube, and the funny thing is I thought I would just go live because I don't like recording stuff, because I just feel like once you record and you replay it and you just have your doubts about it. So I just wanted to just go live stream, and I thought it was going to be that simple, like I go live on Facebook, so I thought it was going to be that simple. But I saw that unfortunately you have to have like 1,000 subscribers and above in order for you to have that privilege of streaming live on YouTube. So I will depend upon you guys to make me famous. Okay, the fame is not what I'm looking for this channel, but yeah, so I will only be able to go live once I hit the 1,000 subscribers, whatever. So yeah, so the purpose of my channel is going to be about my journey, and I've started doing a few lives on Instagram, and I thought, okay, how about I take it to YouTube as well. So the first section of my videos will be talking through depression and anxiety. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety in 2016. I am turning 33 this year, so I was born in 1988. I'm a mother of two kids, a 13-year-old turning 13 this year, and a 3-year-old daughter who, she's turning 3 this year. So the brother is turning 13 on the 22nd of May, and the sister is turning 3 on the 24th of October. So it's 333s. So there's a 10-year gap between my son and I, and then there's also a 10-year gap between my son and the sister. So yeah, we've got that gap. I was really hoping that I would have my second born in marriage. Unfortunately, things did not go according to my plans. I had also out of wedlock. The only difference was I had my son when I was young. I was 19, and then I gave birth to him the following year, or when I was 20. So also with my mother, she got married, and then she got my sister. She got pregnant when she was 19, and she got my sister when she was 20. And my sister, she's not married. She got pregnant at 19, and she gave birth to her baby girl at 20. And if you can catch already the similarities of that, for me it was shocking, but for my mother it was better, because she was in a promise to be married type of a situation. But our dad said, like, before you go and become umakoti, before you go and get introduced to my family, can you please first fall pregnant? Because in my family there is a thing that once you become umakoti, you don't bear kids in the marriage. So yeah, so they made that decision, and she fell pregnant, and they got married. after giving birth. So for me, for her, she explains it in that way. But for me, it says that I don't care what the situation was, but it's the fact that you were not married when you were pregnant with my sister. Yes, there was a promise there, but it could have gone either way. So yeah, so we always have a debate about that. But yeah, my dad did honor his promise. He married her. But now I feel like it's kind of like a generational thing that happened to us, because it's always like that, whereby you get pregnant at 19 and you give birth at 20. And I mean, like, that disturbs a lot in terms of your education and stuff, but I won't get into that now. I would obviously touch base on such things once in the following videos to come. So yeah, so that is kind of like the intro that you will know about me. And what else? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to cover a lot of my journey and a lot of my life. So that pertains me growing up in a township and me going to multiracial school. I think we were kind of like the first guinea pigs when Mandela came out, and I started grade 1, which is bridging class. I started in 1995, so I think we were the first guinea pigs to be in a multiracial school. So yeah, so I'll cover that, what it looked like being a child that was attending school at a multiracial school, and also staying in the township and coming from a poor background. I'll cover that, and I'll also cover what transpired in my life as a teenager, because I started drinking alcohol in primary school. And also I will get to cover how it was dating and being a virgin, and also what transpired in terms of me losing my virginity, because I think everyone, when you grow up saying that you will lose your virginity in marriage, but what happened to me that did not come about, you know, that I lost my virginity before I got married. And I'll also be covering my late teens, when I started high school, because I lost my virginity when I was in grade 11. So I'll talk more about that as well. And then I will also talk about when I was in my first year in college. That is when I fell pregnant with my firstborn. I'll cover that, and that led to me having to drop out on the course that I was doing, and that led me to make decisions of not letting my mother suffer the consequences, you know, of the choices that I had made. So basically I will cover that as well, what that looked like, first year in college and getting pregnant, you know. And I'll also dive into my young adult life, you know, what we did, because I started working at the age of 19, because I started to want to go and work, because obviously now I was pregnant, so I needed to prepare my child's stuff. I needed my child to have clothing and so on and so forth. So I'll cover that journey. As well. And I'll also cover the decision that led me to drop school and start working and then I'll also cover what it meant to be. I think we are almost like the first real generation to start working hectically in call centers, because that's where I started working, the industry that I started working after being a waitress when I was 19. Then I did a call center course. There was an organization called Cornerstone. I don't know if it still exists, but yeah, I did a call center course, and I will talk about working for an American company in South Africa and working for a UK company in South Africa. How crazy the times were with the American times, you know. And so I'll cover that as well, and I'll also cover what it meant to be a young mom in my early 20s, and also discovering myself, and also wanting to be in terms of partying, in terms of being an active mother. So what it means to be single and to be young and to have a child, I'll cover that. in my channel, and I'll also cover what it meant dating, while you were a single mom. I'll cover that. I'm sorry, I just need to grab my coffee. So I'll cover that as well, and also I will speak about that will be like my 20s, and then I'll obviously speak about my early 30s, and the change that transpired when I turned 25. Because when I turned 25, I thought I needed a change of lifestyle, and I will talk about that transition, because that is actually when I became born again. That was on the year 2014 when I got born again. And like from being a party girl to being a born again, what did that mean to me? I'll cover that, and I'll also cover the relationships that I had, before I got born again and during me being born again, and also the decisions that I took while being born again, to try to live right and try to live by God's word and try to live the right Christian way, like the Christian way that is known, abstaining from sex and not being engaged in sex and not drinking and not over consuming alcohol. I'm sorry, not over consuming alcohol, because I really feel like I have a different view to people that will say, as a Christian, it's sinful to drink. I believe that the overconsumption is the sin. Even if you eat food a lot, for me, that becomes a sin. So if you overconsume alcohol, that becomes anything that you overdo. Like if you love money too much, more than God, then that also becomes sinful. But there's nothing wrong with like wanting money and wanting to have money and wanting to have a successful life. But the minute that it takes the place of God in your life, then that becomes a sin. So so I'll dive into all of those things, and I'll also dive into this is the topic that I'll start with, definitely my journey with depression when I was diagnosed with depression in 2016. I'll also cover my workplaces that I've worked in and the lessons that I learned when I was working in those spaces, because I was also working for about 4 years in an NPO that did training and skills development with the grassroots community members. So so that is when I developed my passion for community development and youth development and youth upskilling. So so that became my passion. I found my passion. I think I found my passion at the age of 25. That's when I knew exactly what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So I'll also talk about that. Talk about what that meant and how that transpired but strongly I want to talk for the black woman that is single and raising kids on their own. I want to talk for the teenager that is confused and that wants to fit in. I want to talk about what it means to be a leader, not a leader, let's say in parliament, but a leader of your life and a leader of yourself. And I want to talk about image, image and what it means to take care of yourself as a woman that is in South Africa, because we know that it's one of the high rates of gender-based violence and also abuse in women, so especially in also disadvantaged communities. And what it means, like I'll be covering a lot of stuff, but that will be my journey in life and the lessons that I've learned. And that is just to basically try to inspire and try to reach out to that person that feels alone and feels like they're not being supported, or feels like they need to be a certain way, So I'll cover all of those. I mean, that is my life, that is my life. So I'll be sharing my life with you guys, and I'll be sharing some topics that are very close to my heart. I'll try to engage as many of people that I can in my channel. I'll try to also do interviews with different individuals. So there will be a lot. It will be power packed, and I mean, like, I will let God lead the conversations, and I'll let God decide on what topics we will cover at what time, because I strongly believe that there is a topic for every season, so it will be like that. So I'm hoping that I have not bombarded you a lot right now. I'm hoping you're getting a little bit of indication in terms of what it is that I want to do and where we're going with this channel. So feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to suggest what topics you feel like I need to cover. And obviously, I'm not coming on here as a professional or as anything. I'm just coming on this platform to be me and to be myself and to share my journey and my experiences with you guys. So I'm not coming from an expert type of thing, but I'm coming from a place of, let's say, empathy, and I'm coming from a place of having walked the journey, type of thing of like got the t-shirts type of thing. So so I mean, like, nothing will be fixed on medical whatever. So I'm going on as myself, and maybe in time I will try to bring professionals into the conversations that I will have. It will just depend on where God leads it. So I'm giving it to God so that God can direct it how it should go, because this is something that I've prayed about, and this is something that I've decided that I'm going to do, even though it's not going to be comfortable, even though that I'll be sharing big parts of my life and exposing myself like that. But I feel like it is the right time for me to do that. So I trust that we will journey together, and you will and you will learn and you will enjoy, because most importantly, you need to learn something, and you also need to enjoy. And please just share, like, and try to get the teenagers to be on this platform. I want to create a sisterhood for them. I want to create a big sister that I wish I had, when I was growing up. So so thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for listening to the video. I don't know how much people will reach. I don't know how much, like, how long it's going to take me to get to 1,000 so that I can do the live streamings. But thank you so much for everything, and love you lots, and take care of your mental health, and love and light, man. Love and light. Let's love one another. Let's take care of each other. Kuthiwa umuntu ngomuntu ngabantu. Let us go back to that. Let us go back to our roots. Let us go back to being the Africans that are filled with love for one another and not hate. Let us stop having this black on black hate. Like, it's really depressing when you think about it. I think Umam Noxolo also touched on it, when she was ending her message, like when she was doing her last day of reading the news, which was yesterday. And she's going on retirement, and I got emotional and I started crying, because I mean, how did we get here? How did we get to have these xenophobic attacks? How did we get to hating one another? Like, what drove us to that? And I mean, like, these are the stuff that we're going to talk about on my channel, because like I love to debate about stuff that are important. I like to talk about stuff that are important to me, important in our black communities, and important to a young girl growing up. What does it mean to be black amongst other races that are more welcomed and that are more celebrated? What does it mean to love yourself as you are? What does it mean to love your hair? What does it mean to embrace your fat big nose? What does it mean to be okay with your thick big lips? What does it mean to be okay with your kinky afro? What does it mean? And I do have an afro underneath this, and I will definitely be doing more lives with my natural hair. I'm a big fan of my natural hair, and I'm a big fan of being African. So so definitely we will be talking, and we will be sharing, and we will be loving each other, and we will be sharing tears with each other, and we will just become a family and become naked to one another. Not naked as in take off your clothes, but naked as in laying it bare and letting it loose, So so thank you so much for everything, guys, and let me bow out, and I'll be coming on again and speaking more about depression and anxiety, and my journey with depression and anxiety. Thank you so much for taking time out. I love you so much, and take care of yourself.